Welcome to Afro Green Ventures Nigeria Limited. In Afro Green, we have so many agricultural enterprises. We deal with vegetable crop production and marketing. We grow pepper, we grow tomatoes, we grow fluted pumpkin, we grow some tree crops like guava, oranges, coconuts, and mangoes. We also have pawpaw in abundance in Afro Green. Today, Nigeria is talking about empowering youths and employing those who are not employed. The cheapest way to go now is to go the way of agriculture. That is the only promising way of engaging the youths that are almost wasting in the cities. Tomato production, for instance, is lucrative. As you can see from here, this is a tomato garden in University of Nigeria. Science is applied here to its fullest. And each stand of this tomato will give nothing less than 500 naira. Each stand will give not less than 500 naira. So if you have 1,000 stands, then you are sure of about 500,000 naira in 3 months. Anyone who is involved in this cannot say he is not employed. The same thing goes for pepper. These are high premium crops. They are also high risk crops, because if you do not know the way to go about them and they fail, you lose your investments. So in Afro Green Ventures, we teach the processes of growing tomatoes to produce the way they are in the field here. There is a timetable that must be followed rigidly. How to raise the nursery, how and when to do the transplanting, what are the ingredients of production, when to apply insecticides and when to apply fungicides if there is need for such applications. In Afro Green Ventures, we train people. Whether you have agricultural background or not, you will be trained. For instance, for tomato to come out the way these ones are, you have to follow our timetable rigidly, because this is precision cropping. The time to apply your organic fertilizer, you must apply at that time. The tomato here is not generated with inorganic fertilizers. That's the conventional fertilizers. They are cultivated with organic fertilizers produced by Afro Green Ventures. We produce our own fertilizers, and these are organic fertilizers. You just use a cup, you measure 1 cup of that fertilizer and put it at the base of the plant, and that is all. The next thing is to weed your farm, and then you'll be ready to do your harvesting. We also use improved variety, which you can get from us. Improved variety of tomato, which you can get from us. You don't just go to the open market, you buy seed, and then you think you will get this type of yield. No. You get the seeds, improved tomato seeds from us. And we hand over the timetable of production. Or we can also grow the seedlings, get the seedlings to about 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and then you carry the seedlings and go and transplant in your farm. We also tell you how and when to apply the necessary ingredients of production for you to get the yield of this nature. Some try to apply all sorts of agrochemicals. No, these days, agrochemicals the use of agrochemicals are being discouraged because of the hazardous effect on human health and on the environment. So we do everything possible to adopt the organic production system. We reduce the use of chemicals to the barest minimum in order to save the environment and also to reduce the dangers of agrochemicals in the human life. So, the details of how these things are produced, you can get if you come for training in Afro Green Ventures at number 1, Louis Mbanefo Street, University of Nigeria in Nsukka. Yes, in Afro Green Ventures Nigeria Limited, we also manage waste. All the waste swept out from the roads, from markets, places, from homes, we gather. We bring all of them together and heap them. And from this heap, we collect from this heap, and then from the heap, we fill our compost pit. To fill our compost pit, then digest the waste. Using aerobic processes, microorganisms are introduced into the heap and then we break down the waste. We break down the waste with microorganisms that we introduce, and then to build up the fertility status of the waste, we add certain materials that are rich in nitrogen, certain plant materials that are high in nitrogen. For instance, moringa is the bulk of this thing. About 20 to 30% of what you have here as moringa leaves. Moringa leaves and twigs. In order to enrich the nutrient status of the organic fertilizer. From this, we produce bags. As they break down, we put them into bags. These are bags from the pits, the digestion pits. We get our final product that we call phytofeed. Phytofeed. Phytofeed is a registered trademark with Ministry of Commerce and Industry. And once this is applied to any crop, productivity and yield of that crop is assured. That's what you use for growing these tomatoes. This phytofeed is what you use for growing the tomatoes. We do not apply inorganic fertilizer. This is entirely organic production. So the hazards associated with eating vegetables, maybe that carrying high load of chemicals, are completely prevented. You don't have them here because these are entirely organic production. They're organically produced using the phytofeed. So in Afro Green Ventures, youths can be trained to be part of the production of this organic fertilizer. And this organic fertilizer has export potential. It has export potentials because organic agriculture is what is in thing now. That is what is in vogue. So if I can get support, these things can be moved, can be packaged properly and be sent to foreign countries to earn foreign exchange for our country. Okay. In Afro Green Ventures, we also raise young seedlings for farmers. This is the potting shade unit of the organization. We raise palm seedlings. We raise palm seedlings for farmers. These are Tenera palms, the Tenera hybrid between the Dura palm and the Piscifera. And this will start yielding in 3 years' time. And then you have good bunches, good palm nuts,